Hello everyone and welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are checking out all female Kamen Riders ranked from weakest to strongest. This is the third video about the ranking of the Kamen Riders that we are checking on this guy's channel. The first one was for the main Kamen Riders, then we had the secondary riders, and here we are with the female Kamen Riders. I'm not sure how many female Kamen Riders there are actually. I do remember seeing one video for their henshin and finishers, right? Some long time ago. I believe there are more than 20-ish. But yeah, if I need to guess which is the strongest, probably one in the later seasons. Zio season, probably, maybe. But yeah, this guy will probably impress me with how much work he put into this particular video. By the way, link to this video is in the description below, so you can go check it out for yourself. And yeah, all the calculations and yeah, I'm here for it. Oh, without further ado, let's jump into this one.
If there's anything I love more than women, it's Kamen Rider. That's right, folks. Today I'm going to be covering all 26 female Kamen Riders.
Oh, 26?
In order from weakest to strongest.
Okay.
The rules remain the same as my previous two videos. Borrowed forms and weapons are allowed, but no outside help, which means forms like Igarashi and Nadeshiko fusion states are off the table. I will not be looking at any non-canon characters from mediums like the manga or stage shows. Also, this might be a controversial decision, but I will also be excluding any riders that are just female versions of already established male characters.
Oh.
That way I won't have to retread too many of the same arguments.
Okay.
However, I will be including Tackle and Nico, even though they aren't technically Kamen Riders. They're basically still Kamen Riders in spirit. Geets is far from over, so I won't be including Nago or any other female riders that might get introduced. And finally, this video contains spoilers.
Yeah,
so
probably.
With that out of the way, let's begin.
Let's go. Akira?
Akira was an easy pick for last place. Her only fight scene lasts about 5 seconds before she's knocked unconscious in one hit. To give her credit though, she isn't completely helpless.
I am sorry.
She's just an irregularly strong opponent, and she'd definitely fare better against the other bottom tiers. But even keeping this in mind, her overall lack of experience coupled with poor stamina...
I don't even know her. I mean, I don't remember her. Well, that's a start. Okay, Electrowave, human...
Another easy bottom tier pick, Tackle specializes in 2 techniques.
That's her name?
Really only useful against Mooks and the Ultra Cyclone, which kills her. In all fairness, the Ultra Cyclone is strong enough to kill Dr. Kate, who can block stronger 60-ton punches. So this one move alone is potentially enough to bump her up several spots.
That's a major spoiler, but understandable.
She's neglected using it before in the past, against foes that she would have no other way of defeating, and only made the exception to save Stronger's life. This list features everyone in character, and isn't necessarily a fight to the death, so it's very unlikely that she would decide to use this move at all in most scenarios, when she could just take the L instead.
Okay. Oh, nice edit. I don't... First time hearing about her as well. Kamen Rider... Lark? L-Arc?
Besides that, she really doesn't have much else going for her. Blade Riders are already not very strong by Kamen Rider standards, and the Ace Riders are even weaker. In fact, Lark seems to struggle the most out of all 3 of them, which makes sense. The only thing we know about her is that she used to be an office employee, so she most likely has no combat training prior to becoming a rider.
Alright, we're starting strong, guys.
Anna shouldn't be that
From then on.
than Ryotaro as a child, which would unfortunately make her half as strong as the original.
Wait, she needed to tickle him?
Actually win by possessing his opponent, which he can do to superhumanly powerful characters such as Wataru and Tsukasa, but he's never really tried this type of strategy in the past, and even a total pushover like Ryotaro can eventually force him out with enough willpower. Also, this might be kind of obvious, but Ana is the least intelligent character on here. Momotaro's does seem to have several years worth of fighting experience. It's hard to say exactly how many since he time travels everywhere. But despite this, he's still pretty stupid. His judgment mostly ranges from unreliable to hilariously incompetent.
Okay.
Abaddon Mua?
Mua is one of the only characters on this list that can actually be hurt by normal bullets. Something that even fodder monsters from other seasons are immune to.
Wait, what?
It's no surprise given that Abaddons are super weak foot soldiers.
All
but
Kamen Riders are immune to
far more
bullets?
dominant than the rest.
I didn't know
They
that's
dodge
a
bullets
passive
with
effect
Valkyrie,
with
not
the
to
suit.
mention her physical stats are way higher than they have any right to be. But she's
Okay, this is the first time I'm hearing that
even assuming Mua's 10 times
they're immune to
stronger and
bullets.
more skilled than the others,
I guess
Mua can
it
easily
makes
take out
sense.
10 of these guys on his own
But yeah,
without
unlucky to be her, I guess,
and
in the world of
normal
guns.
troopers are able to hold their own against them no problem.
She can
But
dodge them though.
despite her weakness, it turns out Mua is also kind of immortal. Since her
Huh?
avatar isn't her real body, that means she can potentially respawn as many times as she wants. And since a lot of the characters on this list don't have the tools they would need to find her on their own, that could boost her all the way up to the #1 spot instantly,
Okay.
assuming she was able to tire them out enough.
Oh.
But even if she does revive, that would mean that she died in the first place, which
Yeah.
by the rules I've already established counts as a loss.
Alright.
Jam
Kamen Rider
admittedly
Jam.
doesn't belong on this list at all, since it's just Kogane possessing some random girl he found. But I figured, why not include him? Despite his high
Innocent
stats,
bystander?
Jam kinda sucks.
Oh.
While the original Mars could contend with Kiwami Arms, Jam almost lost to base form Ryugen, with his only other victory being against a single Kurokage trooper. It's possible Jam could win by the same means that he bested Ryugen, holding the girl he possessed hostage. But it turns
What
out
a dirty
lot of
move.
the women on this list are either flat out evil or
Oh.
morally dubious. So
Oh.
they probably wouldn't care that much about harming a civilian.
Wait, they're
even if they
all
could understand she was being possessed in the first place.
some kind of evil?
And
Okay.
those who would are too strong to lose to Jam anyway.
Really? Okay. Idun?
Based
Idun?
on Baron's use of Ringo arms, Idun has
Idun,
proven
okay.
to be stronger than your average armored rider, though she's not quite as strong as an energy rider. Assuming Idun could trap her opponents inside Helheim,
Oh.
that would be an instant win condition, but she's never really shown using her portals in this fashion, preferring to use it as a mix-up or as a way to escape combat instead.
Okay, okay.
Plus, it would just be a temporary victory since her opponent could still hypothetically escape through one of Yggdrasil's bases. Also, the longer a battle is drawn out, the more likely Eden is to lose thanks to her Lockseed's painful, crippling side effects.
Oh.
It's pretty clear
Sylphie.
that Sylphie doesn't scale to Kajidoki arms, but she should at least be as strong as King Durian. Overall, King Durian is pretty similar to Ringo arms. Both have fought Takatora, while he was armed with weapons that he described as being difficult to use. However, while Idun ultimately lost to Watermelon Arms, it's plausible to believe King Durian could have actually beaten Takatora Greedon if their fight had gone on uninterrupted. And
Run.
Sophie is most likely stronger than King Durian, since this form is implied to be her creation, and a stray hit from one of her vines was enough to stagger him for several seconds.
Marika. Oh. The bow
Leading
user.
The quadrinity of Kamen Riders is Marika. Prior to becoming Ryoma's bodyguard, Yoko was a special ops agent for an unknown organization. She can match Oren Pierre in hand-to-hand combat. A man who spent 5 years in the French military can beat up 4 other dudes on his own and apparently won the World Cup? While Energy Riders have matched Demushu, this doesn't automatically make her city level, since he's proven to become increasingly more powerful over time. But she should still be able to match him in his weakest form, which when compared to Baron has stats 7 times stronger on average.
Oh.
Also, Marika doesn't lose to Eden. She only landed 1 hit before fleeing, and it was a sneak attack.
Pinky.
Well, I did say OG Akira was an easy pick for bottom tier. AR Akira is a completely different case.
Okay.
She's Ibuki's best student, putting her on the same level as Todoroki.
Oh.
While she doesn't have any official stats, she's a completely competent Oni unlike her original self. So her attack power probably isn't that much lower than someone like Todoroki's.
これは伊吹の秋だ。誤解っす。自分は片思いなだけっす。禁断の愛っす。
Yeah.
Shuki is the most skilled combatant on here when it comes to years of experience. Thanks to her super healing, she's way older than she looks. Akira might be Todoroki's equal, but even in that universe, Zanki is still his mentor, and Shuki was once Zanki's mentor.
Oh.
Melee range, her katana skills are enough to contend with Hibiki. Her own Gekibo Kitara can create veils of sound that block incoming projectiles. And it can fire an arrow so powerful, at point blank, it can one-shot even the superhumanly durable Oni. Like herself.
Okay.
Assuming Yua joined AIMS immediately after turning 21, that would give her nearly 4 years of active experience prior to the start of the season. And her technical expertise, along with how quickly she managed to climb her ranks, are surely evidence of her high intelligence. Lightning Hornet is twice as strong as her base form. Justice Serval and Fighting Jackal are likely even stronger, but it's not really possible to say by how much exactly. The Serval Tiger Magia gets demolished by Horobi even in a 2v1.
For
the same can be said
truck.
for Jackal's fights against Rampage Vulcan. So overall, Valkyrie really shouldn't be that much stronger than the other riders at this point, but she could potentially be much faster thanks to her being
This
able to
attack is
react
cool.
to objects launched by Satellite Zaya at 280 times the speed of sound. Quite fitting for someone with the powers of a cheetah.
逆だったらどうする？私を撃てるのか？
もちろんぶっ潰す。
Oh. Mage.
Mage has some of the absolute worst stats on this list.
Yeah.
Might give you the impression she's complete fodder.
I mean,
in reality,
magic.
she is far more powerful than you might think. Remember how I brought up how Abaddon is hurt by normal bullets? Well, the weakest monster from Wizard, ghouls, are almost entirely immune to them. And Mage can wipe out a whole crowd of these things no problem. Mage also has the Wizard Sword Gun, which fires homing bullets, so good luck dodging one of those.
Oh.
And she's one of the only characters on this list that could track down Mua's actual location using her White Garda. The exact amount of time Mayu has spent learning magic is a bit unclear. It's probably not even a month, but don't underestimate her just because of this.
Damn.
Fellow Mage
Fast learner, huh?
Hero had his powers for less than a day, and he was still able to beat Wizard's Dragon style.
Oh.
Wizard has successfully fought the same foes as Forze while only in
Wizard.
his form, meaning he can dish out attacks in excess of 2.5 kilotons. Even if we assume Valkyrie was as strong as Thouser, which she likely isn't, Mage would still be stronger, and if you think Valkyrie could just speed blitz her, scaling to Forze would also mean she scales to O's and double, who are fast enough to dodge lightning attacks, which also
Okay.
Mach 280. Not to mention, Wizard has some attacks that are just straight up actual lightning.
We are coming to insane lengths again.
Given the way Nadeshiko is portrayed and her general lack of solid feats, she might not appear very impressive to the casual viewer. But looking at her character in context paints an entirely different picture. She's considered an invaluable resource to Lem Kanagi, who even in his human form can already one-shot base form Forze. Rocket states a form utilizing only a fraction of Nadeshiko's power is strong enough to beat Skyrider, and the same switch was also able to propel the 3,700-ton Go-Buster O to 260.
So basically very important in context.
I'm not going to be attributing this feat solely to Nadeshiko, since the Go-Busters and Forze were probably responsible for a lot of this energy, but if I did, that would instantly bump her up all the way to number 7.
Alright.
The Dark Necroms definitely seem like they would be complete afterthoughts, but that really isn't the case for either one. Both are stronger than base form Ghost, who's fought on equal footing as Ichigo, a character who can survive 500 gigaton nukes and dodge literal beams of light. And they're almost as strong as the original Necrom, who beat Tokon Boost Ghost and Spectre in a 2v1. Alia is the weaker of the two, but probably not by much. Sure, she lost her only fight, but that was against the Gonmeisers, the final bosses of the series. It definitely feels weird putting two characters of such relative insignificance so high on the list, but numbers don't lie, and either one of these ladies could tear through the competition like tissue paper.
イーゴール下がりなさい。
いいえ、たとえアリア様といえど。
Ooh.
なぜ私ばかり。
Isn't shown to be as powerful as the other top tiers for Ryuki, but the fact that she managed to outlast half the competition means she couldn't be too far behind in terms of power as well.
Oh, they
as
had
skill.
some sort of
She's
tournament?
strong enough to pierce Zolda's hand through his armor and delivered the killing blow to Oja,
Oh.
though she did have help from a stronger character. Considering how level 2 Brave stood almost no chance against Oja and level 2 Xaid was able to swiftly defeat Blue Necrom, I'd say Fom has a pretty good chance of beating the Necrom girls. In a similar case to what I said about Eden, Fom dragging another character into the mirror world would end up killing them, but she's never met another Kamen Rider who can't survive in the mirror world, so she has no reason to assume otherwise.
みんな俺の妹だ。
お兄ちゃんお兄ちゃんお兄ちゃん
カノンがいっぱいだ。
While arguably not as strong as Sin Spectre, Kanon was pretty evenly matched with the Ganma Ultima Ebony, and likely could have beaten
These high
her
kicks.
without her brother's help. The standard, weaker version of this monster has beaten Necrom repeatedly, and pushed Deep Spectre to his physical limits, which should put her within the range of Grateful's 15 times multiplier. Level 3 was able to stalemate the same opponent as Deep Spectre, and since Oja's stronger than a level 2 but weaker than a level 4, this should make Kanon and Fom fairly evenly matched. This one could go either way,
Alright.
but ultimately I have to give the point to Kanon since I don't think Fom could have actually beaten Oja on her own. And while level 3 was able to stalemate the Gorilla Bugster in a 2v1, it's not unrealistic to suspect Deep Spectre could have been carrying more than his share of the weight during that fight.
お兄ちゃんイケメンだね。
でしょ？
Oh, Nico.
This one is especially weird to me given that ride players are basically generic troopers, But turns out Nico scales above the majority of the characters on this list. Nico was able to beat a level 5 Revol Bugster, already making her stronger than Ghost and Ryuki Riders. The Game Riser program installed within her suit raises her physical stats as she gains experience points, unlike the Kamen Riders who have static levels. While I'm unsure what her level is exactly, she's potentially killed multiple monsters off screen and is credited with delivering the killing blow to the level 99 Graphite. So it's likely she's much stronger than just a level 5.
Aww. What?
There's a big deal among Kamen Rider fans about Poppy being stronger than Gain Kiwami and Evil Cobra, which is really only true in terms
First
of
time hearing this song.
But regardless, Poppy
I do remember seeing her though.
One of the strongest female Kamen Riders. She's at least twice as strong as Nico, and I say at least because thanks to her being level X, Poppy is basically given a random number as her level, meaning at any given moment she could be as strong as a level
What is this
99
Christmas
or as weak
remix?
as a level 1. Other than her sheer power though, Poppy really doesn't have many other notable abilities. As a digital being, it's possible
She looks like a... I mean, I believe I said that
but this really would
the first time I saw her, but the girl from Lazy Town, the same vibe and look.
Able to teleport, but they usually only do so as a last resort while escaping battle. And while she could potentially come back from the dead infinitely, it isn't something that she can do instantly or without outside help.
Why?
Though Samara doesn't stand out much amongst the other characters from Saber, when compared to the other female riders, she's practically god tier. Being able to defeat the Lords of Wise makes her comparable to Cross Saber, the same form which can stop Storius from colliding two universes.
She was insane.
And she's able to keep up with Saikou, who moves at the speed of light. But independent of speed and power, her smoke form makes her an absolute pain in the ass to deal with. She can
Smoke is insane.
Tangibility at will. There's seemingly no limit to how many times this can be done, and she can even choose which parts of her body remain tangible, letting her attack and defend simultaneously. Not to mention, she can turn other people and objects into smoke as well. While this could potentially work as an insta-kill option, assuming the effect doesn't automatically wear off, it isn't something she's known to use against enemies stronger than herself, so it doesn't really change her placement.
Hello. The Queen Bee. Don't kill me with the team behind, please.
One another, so it makes sense to cover both at once. I'm not going to be counting Aguilera and Dark Aguilera as two separate characters. They're presumably of equal strength anyway. It would make as much sense to me as giving Lovekov her own spot. The comparison between Aguilera and Sabara is actually extremely simple. Sabara has fought against Aguilera's group of Deadmans before, in which the Deadmans had an easy victory against the Riders. While I don't think Aguilera in her human form really made any impact in this fight, her Deadman's form is outright stronger than Daioika, and her Rider form is even stronger than this. John, with help from Kenzan, managed to defeat the Himiko Crisper, who Sabara and Durandal previously failed to defeat. As for who is the stronger of the two revised girls, well, both have beaten opponents that the other couldn't, so it should be about a 50-50. Until you factor in Invincible John, in which case the answer should be obvious. That being said, interestingly enough, John actually does have one weakness that Aguilera lacks. Unlike Aguilera, John's suit doesn't filter air and is seemingly designed to do the exact opposite. This makes her particularly susceptible to putrid smells and poisonous gases,
Oh.
which could cause her some serious pain if she happened to inhale some of Sabura's nauseous pheromone-laced smoke. I definitely think it's still possible for Sabura to win with her combat hacks combined with skill, but in order for her to
No
actually
ventilation,
beat the
huh?
two, she would need to be performing at her absolute best to make up for the strength gap, whereas John and Aguilera are strong enough to beat her just by performing at an
nice.
average level.
Yay. Black tackle? Wait, we are going back?
Since the original tackle was easy bottom tier bait, it's quite poetic to see her successor reach the 3rd place spot.
Oh.
I had a little bit of trouble deciding how Black Tackle should be tiered compared to Aguilera and John. It might be a little weird to see her place higher than the Revice girls since she ultimately lost to the two of them, but the key words in this instance are the two of them. When analyzing these characters, I have to consider how each fight would occur in a vacuum. It's very clear Aguilera needed help from John in order to win this fight, and if John were not present, these events might have played out much differently. While I did say the original Tackle's 2 main abilities weren't very useful, Black Tackle is once again the exact opposite. Unlike the original, Black Tackle's telekinesis completely dictates the flow of battle. There's no way to actually defend against it besides just hoping she doesn't use it. Even though we didn't get to see it, it's safe to assume the Ultra Cyclone would have been enough to kill Aguilera. But could it kill Invincible John? Since this form is a fusion between her and Lovekov, and has stats twice as high as her base, it could be around twice as durable. Well, Black Tackle presumably was made with some of the best technology Black Satan has available. Their leader, Miss Titan, is so powerful that John and Sabura in a 2v1 stood almost no chance of beating her. And it took all 6 riders working together in order to take her down. Though Black Tackle's durability wouldn't grow to match her mother's, using this technique, her energy output certainly should. And unlike the original, who only sacrificed herself to save Stronger, Black Tackle is completely brainwashed by Black Satan and would eagerly sacrifice herself if deemed necessary. While she might hesitate to use this move against Hana, given her sentimental feelings towards her, Yuriko has no such feelings towards Sakura. It wouldn't necessarily be an easy victory, but in my opinion, Black Tackle does have the tools she needs to beat the girls from Revice.
Okay.
Deserving the penultimate spot on this list, Natsumi is the heiress to the Hikari family's secret technique. By tapping an opponent's pressure point, Natsumi can send her victim into an uncontrollable fit of laughter, appropriately inhibiting their motor functions as a result. In all seriousness, however, Kibala does possess one seriously impressive feat. While it's clear that Decade let his guard down and wanted to die, you have to keep in mind this is the same guy who just got done killing every other Kamen Rider, including Ultimate Kuga. But I still doubt Kibala is as strong as peak Decade. So is she really that much stronger than the other multiverse busters? Sure, Storius could only destroy 2 universes, but the Revice Riders should be stronger than this. Is that not enough to close the gap? Well, it turns out Decade is just on a completely different level. In Zeo, Swartz was able to merge 20 different universes at once, with only half of Decade's power. Not to mention seasons like Build confirm that alternate branching timelines do indeed exist. It's no wonder official episode descriptions have stated Decade can destroy an infinite number of universes. Just the fact that Kibala managed to not only take hits from him, but also pierce his armor and flesh and kill him is a serious testament to her power.
Okay.
And she'd easily be at the very top of the list, if not for our one final combatant.
Which is?
Appropriately enough,
Yep.
the female rider from Zeo ends up topping the list. As a member of the royal family, Alpina's natural time warping abilities far exceed that of the other time jackers. Well, I can't really say if Tsukuyomi could just keep time frozen indefinitely. Assuming this ability does have limited stamina, this limitation likely isn't even worth considering, since a weaker time jacker was able to spam his time rewinding ability up to 1,000 times in a row. That being said, Tsukuyomi is actually weaker than Kibala, at least in a traditional sense. The comparison is pretty simple. Kibala impaled Decade while he was at full strength and managed to kill him. Meanwhile, Tsukuyomi impaled a Decade who was only half as strong and failed to kill him. However, even with her blatant strength advantage, Kibala has absolutely no way of defending herself against Tsukuyomi's time stop, and the overall gap in power isn't quite wide enough to keep her from just absolutely getting decked in frozen time.
Oh.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun analyzing some of the more obscure and underappreciated riders that wouldn't really get a chance in the spotlight otherwise. Next up is tertiary riders, so stay tuned.
Alright. Well, it was the girl from Zio. Well, I was surprised by the start of our roster. Damn, the start really was insane. I don't even remember the first, like, 5, somewhere between there, yeah. The first 5 female riders, first time hearing those, and they're... Yeah. Well, we certainly can say that with each season, kinda, their power grow. Let's say that. But yeah, the time stopping ability, that wins most of the time, I would say. I don't know, that was it for this one. Let me know if there is anything else you want me to check out from this particular channel. I'm happy that I kind of figured out which one should be the strongest, even though I don't remember the name. But now I've heard it, so yeah. I mean, I believe she was also the last one included in that particular reaction that I checked out for the female Kamen Riders. Her technique was very cool, time, the clock, her henshin was very majestic. But yeah, that's everything for this one. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below with your thoughts on it. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, click the bell for notifications to be informed of my next reactions, gameplays, reviews, and other things you guys put in the comments below to check out. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!